What if I never did TEDx? What if none of you came here tonight? Better yet, what if you're all just back home watching Netflix? What if the Denver airport is secretly a cover for the Illuminati? What if toys came to life when we left the room? What if my parents never met? What if peace was actually attainable? Hello, my name is Meghan Schlageter, and tonight we are called to ponder the uncharted territory. And frankly, there is no greater what if than what could be or what might have been. If you're an only child, you will never truly know what it is like to have a sibling, regardless of the amount of time and thought you put into it. You will never know the difference in how your parents would have treated you, whether one would follow in the footsteps of the other or be polar opposites, whether you'd fight constantly or be best friends or some combination of the two. You will frankly never know. However, following the definition of uncharted as unexplored, I'd like to argue that what-ifs are actually one of the most charted facets in life, specifically in regards to our recreational and vocational lives. And if I succeed, I'd like to investigate why we do in fact spend so many hours consumed by something that, at the end of the day, ceases to exist. Beginning with recreation, 42% of adults stated that their most enjoyed leisure activity was watching television or movies. 37% said reading, and 11% said physically going to the movies. So, let's get into entertainment. It is said that great stories start with great what-ifs. Don't believe me? Well, aside from the fact that you can basically phrase any plot into a what-if statement, films like Jurassic Park make it a little more obvious. They question what if dinosaurs came back from extinction. In fact, Jurassic World, the latest installment to the franchise, is currently ranked the 4th highest grossing film in history. Our fascination even extends to how we personalize information. I'm sure you're all aware of the Harry Potter franchise, which questions what if wizards lived among us. Although the books aren't written in the first-person narrative, readers feel drawn enough to the characters that they wonder what they would do in those given circumstances. Pottermore, the J.K. Rowling created website, gained over 2 million members within its first 2 months of opening back in 2012, and its numbers still continue to increase daily. But why does it have such a strong fan following? Well, the main draw to readers is its feature to sort you into your Hogwarts house. I'm a proud Hufflepuff, by the way, and this gives readers a chance to see what if Hogwarts was real. The next area of entertainment I'd like to talk to you about tonight is tabloid news, or in more extreme terms, conspiracy theories. While I know that watching YouTube videos on conspiracy theories and following rumored drama of your favorite celebs is a great way to pass time, and regardless of whether or not you believe man actually landed on the moon, there's no doubt that creating alternate realities is immensely entertaining. One theory, however, I thought pertained particularly well to this talk tonight, and that is the theory of the multiverse. The theory states that because we infer that the universe stretches infinitely in all directions, there are only a finite number of ways that particles can be arranged. Eventually, universes must repeat. And when this happens, we arrive at an alternate dimension of sorts. Simply stated, for every action that exists, a separate universe exists with different repercussions. Let me provide an example. Let's say it gets to be 1 in the morning, and I've just now finished my tangible homework, but I still have to study. I'm faced with a decision: go to bed now or stay up studying. If I stay up studying, I risk being sleep deprived, maybe oversleeping, arriving frantic to the exam and extremely exhausted, which causes me to fail. Or I can go to bed now and assume I know more information than I actually do. I'm blindsided by the questions and also fail. Great. Within the multiverse, these two realities exist, along with every decision anyone ever makes, ever. Yikes. These what-ifs, what-could-bes, and what-might-have-beens all exist somewhere in time and space. But at the end of the day, we still only get this one seemingly small Earth at this time. Before I get too distracted and start talking about how small and insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things, I'd like to detour into our vocational lives. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has been caught daydreaming at some point. In fact, when I was little, I was tested for sleep and learning disabilities because I seemed very distracted in class. But daydreams can actually be very beneficial. Psychologist Carrie Barnes states, "Not doing, or unfocused cerebral action allows material to bubble up from the deeper mind, the unconscious. Your unconscious houses seemingly random but actually rich, relevant information, and if you learn to use it, you can go far. Memories, instincts, intuitions, and inner conflicts that need to be resolved find a way of expression through daydreams. When your deeper mind opens up, you can see possibilities, feel better, and uncover solutions," end quote. Sorry. Well, it's good that daydreams are positive because our vocational lives call us to constantly reminisce and look forward to what's to come. For those of you with a working career in the room, you may look back at your first job and wonder what might have happened if you were never fired from that job you thought was everything. You might also look forward to what's to come and what changes you can bring to this world. For those parents in the room, you might look at your kids and wonder what might have happened if you never went to that college party that led to meeting your spouse. And you may anticipate the days of retirement when you no longer have to wake up at 7 a.m. to make breakfast for your kids. As for me, and I'm sure many of my peers, senior year makes me immensely sentimental. I find myself constantly thinking back to freshman year and wondering what might have happened if I never made the friends I now can't imagine leaving. What if schools promoted a long-term learning instead of just cram studying through the exams? What if I never even left public school to come to Oak Knoll? What if, while I thought the school days couldn't go by slower, I've actually taken this place for granted over the last 4 years? But then I think about college, and I'm stampeded by a whole host of other emotions. What if I can't stand my roommate? What if the classes are too hard and I'm constantly stressed? What if I regret my decision? But what if I love it? What if I make great friends and great memories and it turns out to be the best 4 years of my life, like countless parents keep telling me? I think by now it's pretty obvious that every area of our lives are in some way connected to a series of what-ifs. But why? Like I said, we only get this one seemingly small Earth and this one even smaller body in these few years of our lives to make something count. So why do we spend so much of it within our own imagination? Well, I believe that is why. While on one hand it might be hard to escape the belief that you are the center of the universe, it can also be hard to not think about the inevitability of our own insignificance. What-ifs provide a sense of order in the universe, and for those religious like myself, a confidence in God's plan for us. You were fired from that job because that was what was meant to happen. You went to that college party because that was what was meant to happen. I'm giving this TED Talk because hopefully that's what's meant to happen. A little while ago, the New York Times published a study asking readers if they would kill baby Hitler. The results were actually fairly neck and neck. 28% said no, 30% said no, 28% said not sure, and 42% said yes. I was going to give my own interpretation of this poll, but then I realized it doesn't change anything. Your answer doesn't make you any worse or any better of a person. You could end one life for the continuation of millions or pave the way for even worse destruction. Like I said before, what-ifs are frankly unknown. So we must trust that everything, from the darkest days in human history to the greatest moments in our lives, happen for a reason. We can use those what could have beens as motivation to keep up our good work and inspire change where we see fit. We can use those what could be's to shape the world we want to live in and the world we want to leave behind. What-ifs have power, but like all good things in life, they're best in moderation. I'd like to end this talk with a quote from an unknown author. "The past is gone, the future is waiting. It is the here and now that matters most." Thank you.